Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 402 for Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. It's 2021. I don't know sign language, I'm sorry. We have a huge show tonight with tons of news, so I want to introduce everyone and get this show on the road. My co-host and friend, she is a voice actor and a director and a writer and more. I always leave out at least 6 or 7 things that Georgia does. Georgia McKenzie.
Raccoon Cheer. I like that one. We could just do that. Hey, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Georgia. And on my other side, on my screen, on the other side of the Brady Bunch display, is my friend in Ontario. And you know I have lots of friends in Ontario. I told Mark I did
all
something
14 million of them
really stupid this week. Yeah, that I really hate, and I was the perpetrator. So let's introduce him. He is our man in the Kitchener-Waterloo region, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. And as Russell mentioned, we do have a ton of news, so we better get to it.
There we go. And speaking of getting to it, our friend in the Pacific Northwest, I like to think he's an evil Bond villain in his lair, plotting for the good things, not the bad things. He's plotting to take over some part of the world and make it electric. Mr. Patrick Connor.
That's right. Yep. I am coming to you with sunshine from a box right now. We are solar powered as we speak, even though it's dark outside, which is so cool. Hey, everybody out there looking to make a greener future. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Solar power. What if the sun goes down?
Yeah, that's it. And windmills give you cancer. And speaking of windmills giving you cancer, he doesn't have windmills or cancer. He is our friend of the Mid-Atlantic region, Mr. Kacey Green.
How's it going? We are melting out. It's 37 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and we were able to do a provisions run, and your audio sounds great with those new settings there, Mr. Frost, and let's get to it.
I love that. Thank you so much. And last and not least, he is the founder and technical expert on the show. Well, he's the founder of Boulder Hybrids, actually, not a founder of the show, although he's been here since the very beginning. Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back.
So glad to have you back. And as I said, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to start off because I'm just kind of greedy that way. I wanted to start with an article in The Drive from our friend John Voelcker. There was a big announcement last week by General Motors and a lot of the media. Let me just read John's well-crafted headline. It is, quote, GM aspires to sell only EVs by 2035. Here's how I understand what that really means. And the point of the article is this. Most everybody who reported on it got it wrong. Most everyone. Big, small news outlets, everybody was like, GM's going EV by 2035, no more gas cars. That is not what they said. And that was John's whole point. This often happens, apparently, well, with green car, alt car reporting. People don't really listen. They don't parse the words carefully. I mean, if your business is words, you're supposed to think about this stuff and make it clear rather than muddy it up. And GM said aspire to eliminate tailpipe emissions. That's not the same thing as saying we're committing to making only zero emission vehicles by 2035. In fact, they limited it to light duty vehicles, excluding trucks completely. Now, do we hope they're going to do better? Yes. Will they? Time will tell.
We aspire to make a car that burns gasoline and emits zero emissions because we aspire to transcend the laws of physics.
It's kind of like movies where they say inspired by true events, but
yeah,
every freaking movie is inspired by something that is true. It's inspired. Right. It's not.
Right. Humans breathe. Okay, that's a zombie movie. Zombies must be real.
I mean, I hope they do the right thing. That's all I'm going to say on it.
Absolutely. I think everybody here wants them to do the right thing. And again, it's not necessarily, you know what, if GM crafts a statement that's a little weaselly worded, hey, wow, welcome to the planet Earth. Welcome to all of them. But if the people whose job it is, again, to transmit this information don't add clarity, they in fact muddy it up.
Well, they might have been planning on that. A lot of these non-Microsoft, non-Tesla corporations, they don't always curve it like this, and so if you're not used to that, sometimes you may take their stuff at face value and unwittingly spread misinformation.
Or wittingly, if you know, okay, this is the kind of article that's going to get clicks and headlines, and take out all those weasel words because that doesn't sell.
Right.
Well, or they're
That's why they
like,
do it.
hey, how come Tesla stock is worth like 100 times more than our stock? Maybe if we say EV in a headline, we'll get some of that stock market action.
Sweet,
It'll get
sweet.
you the attention.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I guess from that standpoint, GM's news release worked. Well, let's go to Georgia for a story about one of my very favorite companies. And when I say that with a great deal of sarcasm.
Ah, good.
Georgia.
Well,
I'm sorry, is that a bad setup?
I mean, look, all I know is at some point we're all going to have to pick whichever corporate tattoo we're going to have stamped at the back of our neck. So you're going to have to either decide you're going to be an Amazon or you're going to be a Google. Pick one. But for those of you who love your Alexa, well, guess what? Amazon is now allowing third-party companies access to the core AI of the Alexa digital assistant. So you're going to be able to build some stuff, new customized Alexa custom assistant. And you know what? They're really trying to get it into your car. So all you need is an enterprising hacker that will be able to steal your car with the latest of Alexa technology. And I personally look forward to this new way of stuff going wrong because we just put AI in everything like it's avocado or something. What do you guys think?
I think that a bunch of people in the audience is smart devices might have just woke up.
Oops.
My Google is still asleep behind me.
Well, great thing
I'm
is
wearing
that
headphones.
most of these have voice printers because when I first got, I am a Google devotee. It's my smartphone. And when I first got it, my friend used to yell various things at my Google phone to get it to search for things like look for male escorts, which is awesome. On my safety street.
You must get some weird ads after that.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, Google, look for, and I was like, shh. I will kill you and no one will find anything.
So one thing I do kind of like about this is they put out something similar with the Echo devices. I won't say the wake word, where if you had a rental home like an Airbnb, you could have, if someone would say like, where's the extra toilet paper? It would have responses to that were tailored to your house,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool for a rental. And, you could say, is there a fire extinguisher here somewhere? Hopefully they're not asking that, but I mean, just whatever. You could have, are there extra blankets? What closet are the extra blankets in? And I just thought that was a really neat way to have it tailored for a use. And if they're doing something like that in cars, I think the answer to all of them are going to be look in the glove box or whatever. So maybe it's not quite as useful here, but it's still a neat way to think about how these could be helpful in certain situations.
Hey, do I take
course,
the
the
405 or do I take the 610?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the fire extinguisher one, that would send a message to the homeowner anyways.
Yes,
They'd
if
want
you're
to
smart,
know.
Yes, you put in a little extra script. You answer the question and text me immediately.
Right. How do I clean up a big mess in the bathroom?
Right. How do you get bloodstains out of a carpet?
Oh.
Who did you murder in my house?
You don't want to know, says your lawyer.
Find me the cheapest charging station. Or gas station.
Right.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
So I enjoy my Google, and I realize that I'm throwing my privacy onto the bonfire of modern living. But I got one of these too, so I kind of, it is what it is.
Hopefully, you didn't storm the castle with it.
I did not
Right?
storm the castle. I don't plan on storming the castle, and if I did, I wouldn't take. Yeah.
You're not going to stream it?
Live stream it. Come on.
I'd be the guy that got away with it. Let's just put it that way. Well, speaking of the guy that gets away with things, everybody wonders, what's Patrick getting away with? I don't know. I'm just saying that as a bad segue to Patrick's story.
I didn't know who you were pitching to.
About our friends at Amazon.
Yeah, so Amazon did try to get away with something. So this story, Amazon is to pay $61.7 million to settle FTC charges. So this is because they withheld tips from their drivers. And here, let me give you a little bit of background here. So Amazon Flex is a program where independent contractors or gig workers make deliveries in their own personal vehicles. So they deliver groceries from Prime or Amazon Fresh, and the customers can then give those.
They deliver Amazon packages too, just for the.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. So the customers can give a tip to those drivers, and in both the agreement with the driver, they said 100% of the tips go to you. And that's also what they assured the customers, was that 100% of the tips go to the drivers. So rather than passing this money along, Amazon was keeping it. And drivers started complaining when they noticed that the amount of their pay had dropped. And they got some form letter that hid the fact that Amazon had changed the rules. And so the Federal Trade Commission got involved. They did an investigation. Amazon stopped doing it only after the investigation started, is one of the things the FTC alleges. So yeah, this is just horrible. So now they have to pay the money back, which is good. And the FTC is going to give that money to the drivers that it was withheld from. Also
allegedly.
Good. Well, yeah. But here's the thing. If you go and rob a bank, the penalty isn't you have to give all that money back. And then that's it? No way. Come on. So they're getting a minor slap on the wrist here. And like, I've been using, since we're in COVID world now, a lot of delivery services. And I'm tipping well because these are people delivering stuff so that I don't have to go and put my life at risk. So I'm willing to pay for that. And then in addition, like it's winter time now. So on days when the weather's particularly crappy, I give extra tip because they're out there in this crud and getting rained on or whatever, and or driving in snow. That doesn't. If Amazon's just keeping the money, they don't need it scaled by the weather at all. So yeah, that was just ridiculous. And I'm glad that the FTC stepped up here and is forcing them to do the right thing. And I hope that there are more penalties. If I were a driver back then, I would be considering what legal action I could take, maybe some class action, who knows, I don't know. But yeah, just getting the money back, I think, is not enough.
No, someone should be in jail. If you steal $60 million, someone should be in jail. And this wasn't an accident. Someone made a conscious decision that said, yeah, we're going to take this money and we're going to get away with it because we control all aspects of these gig workers things. It's the same thing that Grubhub does with tips. You know,
and that's the thing. When we look back at that, though, did anybody suffer a consequence for tip theft from these food delivery companies? Nope. It's known to the point where you understand if you want a tip to get into the hand of a gig worker, put it in cash into their hands. Which is the exact thing you're supposed to be avoiding in the pandemic.
Right.
The skimming tips should be the same as tampering with food. That it should be egregious.
Right. But I'm wondering if that's why Bezos stepped down, and I am very thankful, honestly, to have new leadership.
I think it's time to share a Bezos dragon meme.
But yeah, if somebody stole $60 million from him, you're right, Russell. Yeah. Somebody would be going to jail.
10 minutes revenue for him, but
right.
Yeah, and they kept this $60 million for over a year. They made money off the cash. The people that were supposed to get the money were out that money, so they lost. Who knows? They missed car payments or rents or who knows what. It is the worst aspect of this is that no one's going to suffer a penalty, and it'll happen again because What's the worst we got to do? As Patrick said, they're going to go give it back. Uh-oh. Kacey's.
That's true.
Nice, Kacey. Very nice. I see. Okay. Oh, my whole screen's different now.
Sorry.
Everybody's. I don't know who's in. Oh. No, I know who everyone is. Our next story is about another oopsie. This one's been going on for a few years, depending on, well, went on for quite a few years, depending on who you listen to. Tesla is recalling 135,000 Model S and X vehicles in the U.S. after a long investigation by NHTSA, that's the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. They have the NVIDIA video processor apparently is prone to wearing out, and the screens, depending on who you believe, aren't automotive grade screens. Tesla went with a different supplier for this, and a lot of people reported bad problems with the screens. So they're recalling 135,000 cars.
Good.
Yeah. So, Kacey, do you want to clarify that it wasn't what part it actually was?
It was the memory, the eMMC, the flash memory. All flash memory wears out, but as the programs kept getting bigger, and the way that Tesla was utilizing the memory, they were logging everything, which any programmer will tell you don't do. Right. And then as the program, the cars program, the OS got bigger and bigger, there was less headroom to hide these writes so that the wear wasn't spread over the whole chip. Now it was spread over a small portion, and that caused the memory for the head unit to wear out faster than it should. And recently I heard somebody say, or attribute to Tesla, that, it should only last 5 to 8 years anyway, which is bullshit, because you're on the line for 10 to 12 years of parts, depending on where you sell the car. And this is the right move to make them replace the chips. There aren't that many of them, because, I mean, they're a tiny car company back then, and they're growing now. So it's a good thing they're doing the right thing.
So this is just the processing unit, not the touchscreen.
It's just the memory unit for the touchscreen.
Every story says touchscreens and then mentions the memory unit.
Just the memory unit on the touchscreen.
Yes, the touchscreen is what fails. But
I got Voelckered.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he did.
It's a flash memory part that dies, and then when that doesn't work, the screen stops responding. Right, so it's
like if your hard drive went out on your computer, it won't turn on.
$8,000 repair at the dealer before.
No, they might have charged that, but right now it's down to like a $500 repair, including labor, and now it's warranty. Those people whose cars have been total lost or any other reason why they couldn't qualify before, because Tesla went back and retroactively extended the warranty, but there were still some people who were uncovered. So now the right thing has been done, and everybody is covered.
Right. And yeah, so again, speaking of headlines, they're going to go for the biggest number they possibly can and say 130-some thousand, but most people were already covered under the extended warranty. So this is going to, we don't know exactly what the numbers are, but you'd have to have like a 2012 vehicle or a vehicle with over 100,000 miles before you weren't covered under the extended warranty. So it's a couple more thousand that they're going to be forced
23,000.
to do. Is that?
According to the story,
23,000 extra that weren't
23,000. The recall is forcing Tesla to deal with 23,000 cars they had not previously addressed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we said,
say they're recalling 100,000 cars, and not.
Of course, because they are. But
I mean, recalls aren't new to the industry. I mean, we go through this as long as they do the right thing and they don't take it to court, or they don't do the actuarial tables for who's worth dying.
I can relate to this in a very small way, and Paul knows exactly where I'm going to go with this. I have a 2008 Prius, and the 2008 Prius, or at least I guess maybe possible multiple years of the second generation Prius, has a little digital display at the top of the thing that actually is super important, because it's not just a display. It actually interacts with the way you turn the car on and off and some other stuff. So
even more so than this, then
these tend to go out.
Yeah.
And Paul says, well, you got to take that thing out and replace it. Well, actually, I did research, right? Found out it's one little capacitor.
Oh, nice.
It's one tiny little capacitor, and I only have this problem on my car when it gets really cold. And then the display goes out, and I have to manually shut off the
You have no
car.
speedometer, no gear indicator, no fuel gauge, and it's really hard to shut off the car.
Really hard.
You think it's off, but it's not. So that you
Ooh.
go in the house, either someone can get in your car and drive it away, or you come back in the morning and the battery's dead because it still drains down the battery, even though the car is kind of half full. So.
Yeah, that's very similar to what's happening here with the Tesla. On this particular version of the Model S and Model X, the touchscreen and the speedometer cluster are separate computers. But you can't control your air conditioner. You can't open and close the automated doors. It's a hassle, but it's not life-threatening, assuming that you can just at least go with the flow of traffic. But it's the right thing to make them fix it, and they should have done it on their own for everybody. But this recall now solves it for the people that Tesla wanted to leave out, like people who were total lost and otherwise wouldn't qualify.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's have some happy Tesla news. Let's go to our friend Mark Coughlin for this week in Tesla.
This week in Tesla is huge, so we're gonna just have to pick and choose. But one story I wanted to touch upon this week was that the Tesla Semi is cleared for production, but the problem is they don't have enough batteries. The Semi, of course, will be the most battery-intense vehicle that Tesla has ever made to date because of its size and the weight that it has to haul. It's going to have a literal ton of batteries that will be in this vehicle. They've, of course, changed the design of the battery so that it's got more juice in every cell. Battery's a little bit larger, but the problem is that there is a shortage of batteries. So really, they could roll out a few of them, but they can't really get to the production they need to. So it's still going to be delayed somewhat as Tesla ramps up its new 4680 cell, along with buying all the cells it can from its current suppliers of Cattle, Panasonic, and others. In fact, the recent refresh of the Model S and Model X, everyone assumed they were going to get the new cells, the 4680s, but no, they're not. They're sticking with the 18650s. And what Tesla did is they changed the chemical jelly roll that's inside those canisters so it was more efficient and has more energy. But really, they kept the same size so it wouldn't upset the manufacturer of those number of cells to continue to sell more batteries. So this is a problem that Tesla knows about and is trying, of course, with adding new battery manufacturing plants to each of its gigafactories to solve. But it is going to take probably another year plus for them to get into the volume that they require. With the ever ramping sales of cars, more batteries are required. And that's going to be the call from Tesla for some time as we go forward. Next, article was written by hbr.org about the supercharger network. This article basically talks about something that I believe we all know in this show, is that Tesla's supercharger network is one of its greatest features for selling its vehicles and the Tesla brand as a whole. Because they own their own network, they manage, they build their own network, and they service their own vehicles, the network is highly reliable. And it's something that people that own a Tesla really don't have to think about when they're traveling between city centers. They know that the Tesla supercharger network is up and running, and they know based on the car display and it telling them if it's available for them to charge even before they arrive. This article just kind of compared Tesla to the other charging networks that are out there and explained the differences and why Tesla is so far ahead that it's leaving its other EV competitors in the dust, because they don't have the same type of charging infrastructure, nor does it even look like it's on the horizon for the others. None of them actually are contributing into their own system. They may pay into a common cause that has one or two or three different partners in the charging infrastructure game, but none of them have their own that get to control their own destiny. They're just a partner or another group that's connected that really does not have a full say as to how the charging network operates, let alone where it's set up and how it's maintained. So interesting article about that if you wanted to go into some more detail. Last but not least, Tesla has, of course, been developing the 4680 that we were talking about earlier at a pilot plant, they call it, in Fremont area. It's on Cato Road. And this particular pilot factory where they've been developing the 4680 has quickly grown into the 8th largest battery producer in the world. That's pretty impressive, having a pilot plant that's broken into the top 10 list of battery producing plants in the world. So this kind of tells you the scale that Tesla is moving at. And this, of course, is just a pilot plant. It's a test plant that has grown and grown and grown, and it will now contribute to some of the battery success that Tesla needs. But also this plant was developed so that new lines can be built at its other gigafactories across the world. So it's just kind of interesting. The scale that Tesla is putting into battery production is really, it can't be equaled by anyone, even combined, based as the 4680 grows and the scale of production continues to ramp up for the sale of their vehicles. It seems that Tesla is going into another category that's going to be just beyond everyone because of the actual size and scale that's going to be happening out of these plants within the next year. So another interesting article about how they're, I guess, preparing themselves to have this type of scale in the future. And that, of course, kind of gives us a eyesight into what they believe their volume on vehicles is going to be based on the number of cells that they have to produce.
It's still impressive that between the two out of the top 10 plants being theirs, they still have to buy them from other people, and that's still not enough. They said they'd give us all the batteries, and it's still not enough.
They keep repeating that they're not cutting anyone off. They want their current suppliers to up the amount of batteries that they're selling to Tesla. They will buy everything that they can make. So this is going to be interesting for the world, actually, for other EV makers. If you don't have already consignment on these manufacturers like CATL or Panasonic or others, there may be a battery shortage for people that don't have consignment amounts already, because it seems that as others ramp into EVs, where are these new batteries coming from? If plants are always maximized in the amount that they have or making and what they have to sell to others for contractual agreements, what is going to happen to the others as time goes along? So yes, there will be new plants and people will ramp up things and start things, but there could be a crunch as we start to move forward with the volumes that we're starting to see in the world of EVs. And if you would like to see more information or read about it or see more videos, please join us at the Tesla Life on Twitter or visit us on YouTube, the Tesla Life Show. And you can see our weekly updates that we put there every single week.
Like and subscribe to Tesla Life because it's an important show.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of important, Mr. Kacey Green has some news on a local company, well, local to me, a San Diego company that seems to be making progress.
Yeah, they're making progress. But what's cool here is Jennifer Sensiba over at Clean Technica. She was playing with the A Better Route Planner website and stuck in an Aptera. She had to tweak one of the Tesla vehicles, change the watt hours per mile consumption, the battery size, blah, blah, blah. But she got the 1,000 miles per charge to work. And then she said, well, where can I go? What can I do? She's figured out that she can do the Cannonball Run with 10 hours to spare without speeding, even more if she went to top speed. Then she said, all right, let's do cross-country trips. And then she said, let's go to South America. So what would you guys do with 1,000 miles of range?
That is
I wouldn't
impressive.
go to South America because you can't make it there.
Not without a boat.
I guess I'd drive 1,000 miles.
Hey, but
You wouldn't have to walk 1,000 miles, though.
I'd walk 500 miles.
and then 500 more.
Right.
Thank you. Little shout out to the proclaimers. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
So they really should do the cannonball run if
Yeah.
they can do
Oh,
that
God,
in their
no.
vehicle in a single charge and without doing it
I think
illegally.
she had to
It's-
charge, but they don't have to.
Come on,
they don't have to speed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if they can break that record, it would be good PR for them. They can get Kyle Connor from
Yeah.
he's done it a couple times.
Out of Spec
in
Motoring?
movies. Out of Spec Motoring, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. I keep wanting to say Unplugged Performance, but I know that's wrong. So Out of Spec Motoring.
Out of
Yeah.
Spec Motoring.
Alex
Why not?
Roy just went, why didn't you think of me?
Get them both. There's 2 seats.
Yeah, there you go.
And since they can do it
Cannonball
at
run,
speed, they don't have to. They don't have to get scouts and lookouts. They can just get on the highway.
I would go to Alaska. Why the hell not?
There
Yeah.
you go.
in the summer.
Yeah.
Not-
In the summer,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, 'cause
One of the
Yeah,
courses
you
she
get
plotted
that
out
from
was
Quebec and
Alaska
stuff.
to Florida, and it was 103 hours and 27 minutes.
Wow. That's,
That's a long time.
yeah.
But the good thing is it's got Pro Pilot Assist, I think they call it, or Safety Pilot 2, whatever. It's got the level 2 autopilot feature where it'll help keep you in the lanes
Oh,
and from running people over.
that's,
Take some of the stress off.
those things are important when you're out traveling.
Yes,
Not running people over, staying in the lane.
absolutely.
Can you put some wings on the Aptera because it kind of looks like a plane?
Well, yeah.
That's what it means. It means
Yeah.
without wings.
That's what Aptera means. Yeah, it's flightless bird or something like that.
But add some wings and then just fly it.
Yeah.
Then they'd have to just be Terra.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll have Chris Anthony on the show again. I've been trying to talk with him. He's been on the show once before, and we'd love to have him back just to kind of update us because Aptera's made some progress. They're showing things. They're talking about making pre-production prototypes and all that. So it certainly would be exciting to have him back on for an update.
Yeah, I've been through a couple of Q&As, and they are thinking about everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of thinking about everything, that's Georgia McKenzie, and she's got a story about one of the favorite places I've never been that I'd really like to go.
well,
We're just like, wait, I get this thing about Mississippi?
I'm like, really? What? Oh,
no.
you want to go to Iceland?
I
Okay,
wanna go to
so
Iceland.
BuzzFeed News has this pretty cool photo essay, and it's way longer than we can get into here about what a decade of investment in green tech has done for Iceland. And I'm going to say it looks pretty stellar between geothermal energy and pretty cool stuff like, oh, I don't know, the bioeffect greenhouse in the lava fields of Reykjanes Peninsula where they grow stuff.
Uh-oh.
Let's be honest. If you want, I could share it. Just in case.
I was going to show some pictures, and I may try still, but BuzzFeed was fighting me.
All right. How about me? I will do this for you.
No,
You know what?
I can help you out.
I mean, one thing to realize though, Iceland is really cool,
There you go.
doing some progressive things, but their entire population is like under 300,000 people.
Right.
So,
And that's what I love about it. Less people.
Yeah.
So
Or fewer.
this is all
And-
super cool.
It
Some
also
of my
is very unique geologically. They are,
like unlimited geothermal energy, basically.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they make full use of that geothermal power. It's pretty cool. I love the fact that they are actually doing more to grow their produce too, because I have a friend who lives there with their family, and that's one of those things that fresh produce, especially greens, things like bananas, those are expensive as heck. It's Iceland. Everything has to be flown in. But with this, they're taking such big strides towards sustainability and increasing the range of produce that's available, increasing the amount of jobs that's available. Because if you're able to run a clean fish farm, if you're able to run a hydroponics and a growing then you're going to be a farmer, and you're going to be able to help Iceland and improve life on this island. And I just think everything they're talking about here, it's like, so why can't we do some of this? Where's our decade of investment in green tech? Well, we keep voting for people who are not necessarily into that, so we don't get a full straight decade of investment. And I'm not even going to say just the electeds are at fault. I mean, we have too many people for whom the concept of investment in a civil society, it costs too much. It's going to take money out of my wallet. And it's like, stability has a benefit to all of us, and progress has a benefit to all of us. So maybe we need to change our mindset on it and stop thinking of investment as a theft from our wallets. But we consider that maybe this investment is actually investing in a benefit to us, because we should have some of this. We have lots of places where we could do our own green tech. And I mean, Nevada, you could have literal acres upon acres of solar, and we could have been working on better storage and upgrades to our electrical grid, but we still can't get past the fact that it would cost money, and we're missing out.
Yeah,
We should be the leader.
it's a question of framing, right? For some people, the green message works, but for others, if you talk about energy independence and independence, being able to grow your own needs and not import them from other countries, that message is going to play better depending on how they think about it. So yeah, just saying, oh, it's some cost for green stuff, that's not going to fly everywhere. So yeah, think about who you're talking to and how to message them in a way that's going to get through to some value that they have. Because this is valuable for all of us. And yes, it's lower CO2, and they may or may not care about that, but it also means everything you said about importing from other places and paying all that shipping costs to just grow it yourself. And the fact that they have so much energy there allows them to have these hydroponics where they're nice and warm inside, and they have grow lights and all this stuff running, because geothermal is just coming out of the ground literally, and that's an energy supply. That's awesome.
But even those people who are like counting the beans, as long as you're not trying to count the beans for the next 3 months, like if you stop with the
Right.
quarter to quarter, the being independent, being green, being renewable is going to pay off in the long run. And we've seen it time and time again. Study after study says that, it may take 6 years, it may take 2 years, it may take 10 years, depending on what technology and what we're talking about. But they all pay off because they're freely renewable because it's coming from the frickin' sky.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they often quote studies from 10 or 15 years ago that show that it's not. But the prices on solar have dropped so much, and the prices on batteries have dropped so much. They're like a tenth of what they were back then. So, yeah, you're right, Kacey. If you take a long view, even a 5-10 years view, it's worth it.
Yeah, we're not talking growing a tree in 20, 30 years here. We're talking short to mid long term, not just as long as it's a little bit longer than quarter to quarter.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I brought up in a meeting discussing messaging for outside group was, I said, we're really fond of framing things in an altruistic fashion because we believe that altruism appeals to us, so it's going to appeal to everybody else. I'm sorry to tell you this, but a really sizable portion of the human population are complete assholes. And if you cannot frame it in asshole, you are going to not get their support. So stop telling them to worry about spotted owls or their neighbor down the block or somebody on the other side of the planet. All they care about is themselves. So you have to frame it. So if we were going to do the math right now, if we're talking about masking up against COVID, I would tell you to give up on that whole take care of somebody, be nice, be sweet to other people thing. You need to say things that trigger the right response, and their response is largely fair and largely selfish. So you say, protect your ass by covering your mouth and nose properly, because you could get sick and die. And for all those men, you can make your dick fall off. No,
or you could expose yourself to liability if they find that you were the one who wore the mask with the nose dick and got somebody sick and died.
Well, the actual truth is they've seen that because it affects your vascular system, because it is not the cold or flu. Yes, impotence will happen from COVID. And those of you who love to work
You need
out,
blood.
I can show you multiple pictures of bodybuilders who literally lost all their mass and have very little aerobic capacity. Affect people with what they care about. Some of us care about others' people, and some of us are darn jackasses. So we need to start framing sustainability in the language of an asshole so that they get the point and they co-sign on things that benefit them and other people.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but tell us how you really feel.
Hey,
Actually, I think she did.
I think the funny thing is so few people who are pro progressive causes are willing to just come out and say, look, you're just not going to appeal to people with this namby-pamby bullshit of kumbaya and hold each other's hand and hug it out.
Yeah, I
People are
agree with you.
assholes.
Yeah, the argument ends up being, you should think like me, and the way I think is right, and why don't you think like me? Instead of, no,
Exactly.
let's focus on what the right thing to do is, not the right thing to think. People get hung up on trying to be right instead of get something done that's right.
Don't ask for language that makes you feel good about you. It's
Right.
great that you want to believe everybody is, Gandhi, but in blue jeans. Some people, like I said, raging assholes. You just have to reach them where they are.
There you go. Well, Georgia has another story, and this one probably doesn't involve assholes.
Well,
We don't know.
Probably.
Oh, challenge accepted, Georgia says.
Probably. I'm leaving it open, Georgia. You take it wherever you want to go, girl. And I do have some photos loaded up for you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's roll that beautiful car
Bean
footage.
footage?
I was about to say it.
Wow. I never
pretty.
I never thought I'd get to do the Bush's Baked Beans commercial with anyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was raised on TV and proud.
Look at this gorgeous little thing.
That
Now,
gorgeous
y'all
little
know-
bean.
If there is one thing I love, it is tiny, cute, weird shit cars. I like them looking like snub noses. I like them looking like you're gonna pull them back and just let them shoot off an electric track and it's gonna crack up and fall off the table, because that's how it goes in tiny car land. And be still my beating heart. The MiniCooper SE, it's the 110-mile fun EV, and it's gotten an update, and that's all I'm looking for. It is cute. It is adorable. It works with Apple CarPlay. It's got a touchscreen. It's an EV. I adore it.
Got
What
the
do you want
beauty
from
back
me?
in the taillights.
Yes.
I think it's cute as a button.
It is. Look at how good it is. I mean, did you share it?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
Everyone has seen multiple pictures from all different angles.
Yeah.
I've never seen enough. Now, honestly, I think the one thing though that I like about it is at the price point, it's stated about the same price point. So you're looking at a brand new EV MiniCooper with all the bells and whistles for about $20K once you get all the reductions to it because it's an electric vehicle. And that's a pretty nice entry level price for an EV that's brand new, 2022. So, mind you, you are not going to go take this on a 1,000-mile journey.
You cannot. Not without a challenge.
I mean, unless you're really desperate.
Yeah. It's got a little more elbow room than the Candy, and it's from a known quantity. So if you like to buy from
Yeah.
established brands, then
It might have a
This will do
slightly
that.
better build quality too.
I was trying to
Yeah.
avoid saying that, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, BMW certainly made a few electric vehicles as well. This is not
Yeah.
something they have no experience with.
Yeah.
And the new front looks like it's got a little mustache. So got that. So you got that banging facial hair thing happening on the front grille. People, you know you want this.
Very
You don't
cute.
want a cool Tesla. You want to look like you're in a child's animation, or at least I do, and I'm fine with that. So that's my thing. It tickled me pink to see it, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. Now you
More
know.
choices, more form factors. Bring it.
More choices.
Yay.
Great for your college students.
Yep. Looks
Paul,
like
anything-
You know what town they'll be in.
Yeah. Paul, anything bad to say about the Mini EV?
Obviously I haven't seen it in real life, but as long as it's not just a compliance car, it should be good. You know,
Right.
stay away from compliance cars is what I always say.
For good
Well,
reason.
wasn't there an issue with minis as gasoline cars?
Well, yeah, they're not the greatest reliability history on the
Right.
gas minis. They're cute, but they break down a lot. They're expensive to fix.
And they're very expensive. They're Mercedes-Benz offshoots, if I remember correctly.
BMW.
Like it's owned by
BMW now.
BMW. Yeah. My cousin got a Beamer from his dad, and he was like, "Yeah, I got it for free, and I've spent $6,000 fixing it." And I was like, "You know, my Fit was $14K. I haven't touched it."
Used Audis and BMWs are the cheapest, most expensive used cars. Something like they're cheap to buy, but they bleed you dry once you own them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a window was like $2,000. They needed to fix something in the door because the window wasn't rolling up. It was $2,000, and I was just like, you know something, you don't need
Keep it up.
Beamer.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Upload
those
it
cars,
to somebody
anytime you
else.
go into the dealer, it's $1,000. You know,
Right.
okay, my
$1,000.
turn signal's worth $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, I
I
hope
mean,
the reliability is better than the gasoline version car. I don't have any information on that, but I know that the gasoline car was trouble when you owned it. So hopefully with it being an all EV powertrain, that's gone away.
right. That's
I
one
think
nice thing about
BMW
EVs.
means break my wallet. So,
Bring my wallet.
yeah, break
Bring
my
my
Bring
well,
my
you know,
wallet.
I fully admit that I did when I was car hunting, and I told Russell this, and this might be why I'm on this show. I tried the Mini Cooper because it was a dream car of mine. I'm a big fan of the Avengers, and no, I don't mean the Marvel Universe ones. And I described it to Russell as it felt like a Chihuahua screwing a Great Dane. It was just a lot of effort going forward, but I couldn't really figure out if there was much results happening there. And and
Show
it's like
title.
you know, it's a show title.
That's a vivid image.
It was just a lot of work. That car was putting in so much work to be at 50 miles per hour on the freeway test. And I was like, as much as I have dreamed of my own Mini Cooper, especially in particular the Countryman model, this is not going to work. This is not my kind of car. But I am hopeful, but I'm still a big fan of it. Sue me.
No, I think that's
I
just
wonder if
fine.
you ever see there was a really cute Honda Civic EV reboot that looked like the old Civic.
Ooh,
Oh, they have that in Europe.
that'd be cool.
Is it in Europe? Okay.
Yeah.
Because
It
that
just has
looks
no
really
lines, man.
Yeah. But we don't get that stuff because
Americans want big SUVs.
Yeah, because we
Well,
want big
plus
trucks.
the camera mirrors. They don't want camera mirrors here either.
Yeah. Well, let's go to our next story. Patrick has a lawsuit that, well, Patrick will tell you more about it.
I should unmute. Yeah. So my first one was a lawsuit, or there's certainly a legal action, and so is my second one. This one is from Electrek. So California wins emissions fight. Automakers leave the lawsuit, but still want dirty air. Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of background and then go into what's happening now. So since 1960, California has set their own emissions rules. And as long as those rules met or exceeded the federal standard, they could do that. And then other states could follow those rules. And there's been, depending on what governors are in at the various states, between 12 and 15, known as the CARB states or Gang of 12, the undirty dozen. So under the Trump administration, the automakers lobbied for lower standards. And the EPA, under the guidance of, this is from the article, quote, oil stooge Scott Pruitt and coal lobbyist Andrew Wheeler, were allowing these lower emissions than what had been set under the Obama administration. So now, all of a sudden, with this new administration, the automakers are willing to leave this lawsuit, and they say they are voluntarily dropping it in hopes of having cooperation going forward. Well, what do they want going forward? They want to not meet even the previous Obama level standards. They're hoping to get something in between what the Trump administration had and the Obama administration had, which is BS. No, we need to move forward. So the group that is pushing for this, and this is one I wish Tony was here for, because it's the Alliance for Automotive Innovation.
Of course
Yes.
it is.
Innovation in ways to save your beans and bean counting.
Right, innovation, and all they need to add to be a little more accurate is denial, stoppage, some sort of not at the end of this. The Alliance for Automotive
Bizarro.
Non-Innovation, for doing shit the same old way that we've always done it, group is maybe more accurate in my opinion. So they are still lobbying for dirty air despite having dropped support in this doomed move. The group has asked that the Biden administration consider emission rules that are roughly midway. So I'm not going to read the whole article here. There's just one point at the end that I do want to read here, though. By the EPA's own estimates, they concluded that if the Obama-era administrative standards would have continued, it would have saved Americans $1.7 trillion. As a nation, that's what we would have saved. And that includes the healthcare impacts, not just the fuel use, but the air pollution, and then the people who are dying from that or going to the hospital and getting treatment. And there are knock-on effects on and on with the fossil fuels that we burn. And to fight to try to keep that when the future is obviously going to move away from fossil fuels. We cannot stay on them forever. They will not last forever. They are no longer being produced on the planet. The conditions that allowed for that to happen no longer exist. And so it's just ridiculous to fight to hold on to this 1900s technology when we have so much better options. There you go.
There you go. Yay. Maybe. We'll see. We got one last story before we wrap up tonight. Let's go to Kacey Green.
Let's go back to the tunnel. So, the Clark County Board of Commissioners approved a right-of-way for the Boring Company, and they've got another stop. It's going to be at the Resorts World, and Russell and Mark had more information on that. But what I found interesting is that they are not allowed to charge a fare to operate this thing. Whatever fees they receive from the tourism board or whoever this is all they can do. Anything else, they have to make it up other ways, but they can't charge per ride.
No, that is for the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm not sure if that still applies to Resorts World or not.
Yeah, if you want to get to your hotel, it's $100 fee. But
Not for the ride, just for the fee for the access. Yeah.
Center, it's free.
Make all the cabbies in Vegas very, very happy.
Yeah.
TBC will fund
Yes.
the operation and management of the Vegas Loop fully, and they have $6.5 million to operate and manage. That's it.
Yeah. So
Lasts about 10 minutes in Vegas.
as I mentioned to Kacey before the show, this is an exciting new development. If you don't understand that Resorts World is literally across the street from where the station is.
Yes, but what street?
Yeah.
It's Las Vegas Boulevard, which no human wants to conquer without either a lot of alcohol and a disregard for their own life, or
Right, it's
maybe
across the street from that one station, but you could be coming from any of the other stops, right?
it's
Yeah, you could be starting from the other side of the convention center, which is 2 other stops away.
Yeah, because
Right.
you can go point to point with this network.
Of course.
Yeah.
I just want, this isn't like the airport extension, or this isn't a whole Vegas.
No, this
run.
isn't one of the cool ones.
This is a very small incremental increase into this pilot program. That's
But
all.
this is one that was requested by Resorts World after seeing the construction and planning of the Las Vegas Convention Center loop, the three-stop loop that has been completed.
I bet they can't wait to get all those self-driving cars tooling around in their parking lot.
Everybody's
Wherever
getting
they're gonna be.
FOMO.
Yeah. There you go. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything on the Las Vegas Boring Tunnel? Is it going to be the greatest thing ever?
I hope so, but we'll see.
I'm gonna go check it out.
I'd love it if they let my car in,
Any
but
more
I'll go grab one of
when it
theirs.
actually goes live to the public?
It was supposed to have already, but then there were no conventions because of the new normal.
So the one thing we haven't heard is if there's any testing, if they've actually run some cars through the tunnel.
So
yeah,
there's
we've got video of
photographs
that.
Testing, yeah.
I'm sorry?
There is photographs of testing. There's actual
testing.
photographs of Model X with Tesla tunnel or something like that
Oh,
written on the
God.
side.
And they're
Got
really
it
gonna do
monogrammed
that.
and ready to go. So I would say that something will probably get some sort of video or opening within the month of February, I would think.
Wow.
Yeah, Elon plans that rave based on Fallout Shelter. And we've seen security camera footage from another business that happens to overlook their lot. We've seen them cycling cars through the tunnel. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's do some shout outs and go home. I'm going to start with my friend, Patrick Connor.
Hello. Okay. I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. Please check that out. I have one on there. It's an interesting discussion about Tesla's trade-in policy and some things they no longer offer that old drivers might want to keep, like me. But anyway, and I'm also with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can check us out at oeva.org.
And you should. Absolutely. That's oeva.org. Kacey Green, what's new with you, my friend?
well, I got some videos coming out, and I've got some that did just come out. And while I've got the mic, I'm going to point out that on the left side of my screen is Russell and Patrick, and I like your guys' shirts. You can find the videos that I have already put out, as well as the one I'm about to work out at... I'm not doing a workout video. I'm doing a video. It's in the computer. It's not quite done being cut yet. Anyway, you can find them at youtube.com/Kacey Green. That's KACEYGREEN.
Patrick's shirt's way cooler than mine. Way cooler than mine. This is just an old work thing. Speaking of old work things, Mark Coughlin.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
I think you've got like the most of all of the bad segues. I think you've got the most of the ones that put you
That is
down.
the greatest segue I've ever heard.
I miss Mark so much when he's not on the show that I'm sorry. I just went a little overboard.
If you'd like to see some of our works, you can find us at the Tesla Life on Twitter, and you can also find us the Tesla Life show on YouTube. Thanks very much.
Do search and do like and subscribe, and of course follow him at the Tesla Life on Twitter. How about Paul?
I'll be quick. If you're in Colorado and need a used EV or hybrid, check out our website, boulderh.com. Got some new inventory. And if you need your car repaired, check out boulderhc.com.
That's where I bought my Prius, and I think you should get yours or your hybrid or your electric car from Paul because you can trust him. How many people in the car business can you say that about?
Would you rather buy a car from a mechanic or from a sleazy salesperson?
Hey.
See? There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shady behavior tonight.
Last and definitely not least, Tickled Pink Georgia McKenzie.
So, my shout out is to you, the viewers, and to my hosts. Thanks all for being here tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. See that button right there on our show. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Kacey's show. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Mark's show with Tesla Life, because you know you need all that goodness in your life. Stay safe, eat healthy, get lots of sleep, drink some water. You're going to be fine. Back to you, Russell.
Thank you so much, Georgia. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for his amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy his music everywhere. And please, buy a song or something. That's okay. I want to thank Patrick Connor, Kacey Green, Mark Coughlin, Georgia McKenzie, and Paul Guzik for being kind enough not to make me do this by myself and look really stupid and sad. Because that's what a show with just me would be, stupid and sad. One lonely guy ranting against the wilderness. I mean, how many times have we seen this already in social media?
Oh, we can watch you do that on Twitter all the time.
You killed me, girl. I got nothing. I got nothing. It was just boom, right? Boom. The wound is so big. Anyway, yeah, George is right. You can at Russell Frost. Follow me on Twitter if you're really brave or stupid. I'm not
If you
sure.
love
which.
Russell's rants, there you go.
Yeah, if you love my rants, because I'm a ranting mofo on Twitter. But again, thanks so much. Do follow us at youtube.com/whatdrivesus. We're at What Drives Us throughout social media, whether that's Facebook or Twitter. We're What Drives Us Show on Instagram, which never gets updated because I fucking despise Instagram. Am I allowed to say that? I think
You're
I'm
allowed to have
say it.
opinions, sure.
Yeah. But maybe someday we'll do some more stuff on there. Until then, thanks to all of you. You're the reason we do the show, and we appreciate it so much. Download us next week and find out what drives us.
Stay positive. Test negative.
See you next week, everybody.